What's up? Welcome to the CtRacerX channel. I'm your host and the progenitor of the show, CtRacerX. And today, we're going to be doing a little bit of work on the Viper. My favorite thing to work on in 110-degree weather. At any rate, we're going to be putting on what is known as the lower crank pulley. It was supposed to result in a 10% or 13% increase in power. Who knows? It won't matter till we put it on a dyno anyways. But for you Viper guys out there, I'm sure that you're all kinds of excited about this because I'm sure you too want to get one. So, first place I'm going to tell you to go to get a new crank pulley is ISPCO. ISPCO. They're out of Colorado, if I recall. And their prices are really great. And it's a billet 7-spline crank pulley. So, to my knowledge, it goes in like butter and makes the car perform a little better. And the best part about it is, if you're a Gen 4 guy, chances are you may not actually need to change your serpentine belt when doing this. So if you've recently done a serpentine belt job, don't say to yourself, oh crap, I gotta get a new belt. In fact, you may be able to keep the belt you got. So, I've got the pulley, as you saw. Now, it's time to get some gas in the Audi. And then, when I get home, I'm going to change all of this and get a crack-a-lackin'. Backing ourselves right now into the driveway because we're home, and now it's going to be time to get dressed and put the Viper together. Not super duper excited about doing it in this blame heat, but you know, at least I'm blessed enough to be able to work in this heat. It is stupid hot. Right now it is officially 112 degrees, so I'd like to not be dying. Alright, so check it out. Got my clothes changed, and now it's time to have some tacos. So first tacos, and then we work like savages in the heat. Right?
Yes.
Okay, I finished my tacos, finished my root beer, and now I'm gonna finish Judge Judy. And then I'm gonna go outside and work on the Viper in 113-degree weather. I promise. I promise I am. Whew. Okay, so Judge Judy's over. Now it's time to get our gloves on and get started on this job. So, what you're gonna need right off the bat, if I can recall correctly, is a flathead screwdriver. Because the first thing you're gonna wanna do is go ahead and remove these connectors here and the airbox, take off your mass airflow sensors. Okay, you're gonna get those off. You go ahead and push the red clip up, and you're gonna push the button on the side of the mass airflow sensor, and that'll remove the clip. Okay, get that on both sides. Okay, and take your little deals off here. Just turn those counterclockwise. They should just unscrew. Okay, and then you're gonna need your flathead screwdriver, and that's gonna be to remove the throttle body connections. Once the throttle body connections are gone, then you're gonna be able to get your airbox out of the way, so that you can then have access to the serpentine belt. Okay, once you got everything loosened up here, you should then be able to just go ahead and lift your airbox out just like so. Set your airbox on the ground, and now you have access to the serpentine belt and the main crank pulley, which is down below right here. Okay, next step is to take your serpentine belt off. It's a 15mm socket. Go ahead and put it on this tensioner, and obviously you're going to turn it counterclockwise. Now, turning it counterclockwise is going to cause this tensioner, of course, to move upward, and then you'll be able to remove the serpentine belt off the line, off of the front of the car. Okay, now it's time to take off the crank pulley. All right, that's this guy right here. These bolts are all 13mm bolts, so just get your adjustable crescent wrench or socket wrench in my case, and just go ahead and wrench these guys out. There's 6 of them. They're not too bad to take out. My admonition would be to do the bottom ones first, because they're the ones with the least amount of leverage. You probably may need a breaker bar. Don't hesitate. If you need a breaker bar, just get one and use it. If you don't know how to do the breaker bar, if you don't have a breaker bar, then you use the trick we talked about in an earlier one of my videos, where in which you put a crescent wrench on the end of a ratchet, and you add some extra leverage and pop these loose. They're not on very tight, so I don't imagine you're going to need a full-blown crazy breaker bar to get them off, but you know, take your time, take them off. They come off real quick. Once they're off, it'll be time to put your new crank pulley on. Okay, so we've got all of our bolts out, as you can see. So now you just go ahead and take your crank pulley off like so. Just give it a wiggle, and Yahtzee. Now, let's go ahead and compare that stock pulley with the new one. Ta-da! As you can see, big and ugly, little and pretty. Okay, so I got the new pulley out of the bag, and in comparing it to the stock pulley, you notice the base of the pulley, this area inside here, it's much thinner than the new one. The new one is fairly thick. So it looks like the new bolts are going to be necessary. Alright, if you got your new pulley installed, it should look like so. As you can see, it's got 6 bolts in it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are going to have to use the longer bolts. And make sure you put it in like you would put in a tire. Okay, so use the star formation, you know, whatever, until it's all completely installed. Alright, don't just put them all in a circle or something like that, because you really want this to be balanced up against the crank pulley. It'll look like $1,000,000. And on top of it, it isn't going to like wiggle or rotate or come off. Okay, put it on, tighten it up, and you're good to go. Okay, if you got your serpentine belt back in place and your new pulley on, this is what you should have as a result. Now, if I had to rank it as far as difficulty is concerned, probably a 2. It's really not that hard. It's just my only admonishment would be to do this job in an air-cooled environment. And I mean air-cooled like as in probably 60 or 70 degrees rather than 100 degrees. Alright, so now you've went ahead and put your intake back on the car. Obviously you want to go ahead and tighten these guys up. Okay, make sure you plug this guy back in, put in your mass airflow sensors, make sure you put your clips in place, you know, push this guy down, push the one up, and then you're just going to go ahead and twist your little deals right here in, and you're all done. Then it's time to go ahead and start the monster up. Okay, so we got it all installed. I'm a glistening mess. My gloves are all torn. But the end result is a Viper that now has a smaller crank pulley put in, which means I should be a little bit faster out there. let's crank it on and see how it does. All right, well, looks like we are all the way finished. So I'd say it's a job well done. Thanks for tuning in to the CtRacerX channel. And don't stop modding, because life's boring without mods. Stay tuned, there's gonna be some more stuff, and maybe we might get to take this guy out for a run and see how it does.